Hello there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another episode of Teach Me Tuesday. Today I wanted to feature a stamp set that I absolutely love that is in the Occasions catalog, which is only available for another 9 more days. So today, I don't even know what the date is, but the catalog expires on May 31st, 2018. So I know that's 9 days from now because I did the math earlier. So this stamp set is currently on, or will be soon, on while supplies last basis. But I think it's such a fun stamp set, and I didn't get to play with it anywhere near as much as I wanted to. So last month, for Stamp of the Month, I actually featured this one, and I wanted to share one card with you today that has kind of a fun technique, and then I'm going to share with you the other 3 cards we did during class that all feature different ways you can use this stamp set that may not be what you would traditionally think of doing with this one. So obviously it looks like a coloring stamp set, and that's what you would probably most envision doing with it, but there's many ways we can use it and not have to color. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So here's the card that we're going to do together. And then once we've done that, I'll show you a few other ways that I used this stamp set. And if you decide you want this stamp set in your own collection, which I would totally be on board with because it's so cute, so fun, and if you love to color, it's obviously a perfect set for coloring. I do have a few more of the card sets for this class left over, so if you place the order and include this stamp set on your order before May 31st, I will send you the 4 kits to make these 4 cards for free. So you just have to be one of the first to put the order in, because like I said, they are limited, so I can only do it for as long as I have kits. But if you place the order and put the order in and before May 31st and place this stamp set on your order, I will go ahead and send you the kits. But let's go ahead and show you what I did for this card. So I'm just starting with a Whisper White base, and we're going to fold that in half. So this card base obviously is 8.5 by 5.5, and then I just scored it on the side. I'm not scored it, I folded it on the side. I did not score it. I could have, but I did not. So I have that, and then you're going to need a piece of basic black cardstock. This is 4 by 5.25, and that's just going to be your perfect mat, so we don't have to do anything to that, so I'm just going to set that aside. Then we have this one, which is 3 3/4 by 5, which is the perfect, oh, I cut this one wrong, because I had to cut it again, because I had a mistake, so let me fix that. It needs to be 3 3/4 by 5 in order to fit nicely on that page. So let's go ahead and fix that, because I don't want to have to do that in a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have it so that it is a perfect mat for this one. So you can see, okay. And then I just have a scrap piece of white paper, which we're going to use for the greeting and also for how we did the clouds. So let me start with that, because we do want that in place first. So I'm using this Sprinkles of Life, this is called the Tree Builder Punch that coordinates with the Sprinkles of Life stamp set, which if you like these two, you can join me online on my Facebook page, By the Shore Stamping. I'm going to be featuring this stamp set and this punch in our live class tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right online. That's why I said that. But for today, we're just using the punch for this card. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch myself out 3 of these little clouds. Whoops. I also got a flower and a bird on top of that, which could come in handy too. Oops, get out of there. And then I need one more. So I'm just going to cut this off to make it a little bit easier to get that in there. And I'm going to cut one more there. Perfect. Okay, so now if you had repositionable glue, this is what you would want to do, is you would want to use repositionable glue on here. I'm just going to trim this off because I missed that. Okay, I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this snail adhesive because this is permanent, so if I use too much, and that's probably going to be too much, if I use too much, it's going to permanently stick to the front of that, and then it will ruin the front of the card. So I'm just trying to take a little of that off, but hopefully that won't ruin it too much. So I'm going to just go ahead and place my clouds down. Just using a tiny bit on these so that it doesn't get permanently stuck there, because we're going to want to pull these off after. Okay, there we go. That was better. So now I have my little clouds in position. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the brayers, the foam brayers that we have. You can order these. They come with a set of 2 handles and 4 of the rollers. And these are obviously disposable, but you can also rinse them out and reuse them. So they're very handy. We're using Pool Party for the sky. Whoops. So we're going to go ahead. I just stuck my finger right in the ink pad, so I'm going to wipe that off so I don't get it on my project. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to take this and we're just going to roll the blue over the clouds and the sky area. Now notice that I'm going all the way across my ink pad and not doing this, because you want to make sure you get ink on the full roller, otherwise you'll run out of ink before you finish the page. And then you're just going to start off the page and you're just going to roll over the cardstock. And then just go back, grab a little more ink. I usually start down right where I left off and continue so you don't get the line. Whoops, I didn't leave a whole lot of green space there, but that's okay. I want this to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to go over it again. This does kind of sop up your ink pretty much, so you'll want to make sure whatever color you use, you have the ink refill on hand, because it will kind of use up a lot of your ink if you do a lot of these. Which is why I'm going over this several times, because we used it in class and I forgot to re-ink it before I did this video. So, but it still works beautifully. So there's that. Now, the other reason why I want to make sure that you didn't put a ton of adhesive on there, because by rolling over it, we're kind of pushing down and adhering that adhesive really well. So this one is going to be the one that's tricky. Oop, it worked perfectly. Okay. This one I didn't use a lot. Perfect. So yeah, you just want a tiny, tiny bit if you don't have repositionable adhesive. If you do have repositionable adhesive, use that. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to switch. We're going to use Old Olive. And I'm going to do the same thing, but this time with the olive brayer. So I just have different sponges for different colors. Like I said, you could rinse them out and reuse them with different colors if you only had a couple, but I have quite a few, so I just use them for one color for the most part. All right, so that's all I need to do for that, and that's basically the main technique on this. But now you'll see that instead of having to color this image from the stamp set, which is really fun and super cute to do, you can just go ahead and stamp it. So I'm just going to ink this up, and I'm going to stamp it right down over those colors. So I'll do that. And then you get that cute little house, or houses, birdhouses, over the background. Now I didn't want this to look like the birdhouses are just floating in air, which is why I put this little strip there, because it just grounds those birdhouses so that they're not floating. And because I love to do the little banner ends, I went ahead and I cut a little banner here. Okay. And I can put that down. But before I did that, I wanted to girl it up a little bit. So I just took some of my doilies. These are actually retiring. This style of doily is retiring. We are getting new doilies in the new catalog, but if you like these, they're a great value. There's 24 of them in there, I think, for like $3 or $4. So it's a great value if you wanted to throw something like this on your order too this month before they retire. That would be a good option too. I'm just cutting myself a little tiny section of this so you can really get a lot of bang for your money with these doilies. And I'm gonna chop off the top of this too, because I just want a little bit poking out from under here. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'll put a little bit of adhesive on the back side of this. and then I can plop this down on that side, and then it just kind of peeks out the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and tape that down onto the card, or I shouldn't even say card because it's technically not a card yet, it's just the layer. I'm going to go ahead and put that down like that. And then you could stamp your greeting right on here, but I always like to do it on a scrap piece of paper because that way if I mess up, I have more opportunity to fix it. So, and I always need thank you cards, so I'm going to make this one a thank you card, if I can find my, here we go, here's thank you. So I'm using Teeny Tiny Wishes, which is another great staple stamp set. It has all sorts of greetings that you could use. So I'm using that one. That one is retiring as well, May 31st. I'm going to use thank you. And I'm just going to stamp it at the bottom here. Now normally I would use my trimmer to kind of trim this off and get it straight, but since that's difficult to do on the video, I'm gonna just eyeball it, and this probably won't be as straight as it should be, but it is made with love, so it will be fine. Alright, I want to cut that, and I'm just going to trim these sides down. 1, 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and just do little snips in here. So if you cut in the center and then go from corner to center, you can get nice little even points here for these little tiny ones that don't work in the tag punch. Okay, and that's not what it's called. I can't think of the name of that, but it makes the banner punch. Sorry, that's what I meant. So there's that. And then you can just go ahead and tape that down. I did actually on the original card pop it up with dimensionals, but I kind of think I like it better just flat here. So that goes there, and then it's just a matter of assembling the rest of the card. And this card is great because it's a one-layer card, so this mails very easily, and you can see it goes together super fast. If you did a production line on this, it would be really easy to make a whole bunch of these. And you could do these in any color, so if you wanted to do Christmas cards or birthday cards or whatever you wanted to do to stock up on, you could do a whole bunch in different colors and then just stamp a coordinating image on top. And you can see it can be any type of image. It could be a line art image, it could be a solid image, it could be whatever you like. And just add a greeting and you're good to go. So that was one way to use this stamp set that's not coloring. So I did not color that image. So that was one. Another thing I did, well, I'll show you. This is the traditional kind of thing. So one of the cards we did at Stamp of the Month was this one, and we did color. We used our Stampin' Blends, which are amazing markers and should be back in stock soon, if not they're already. I don't think they're all in stock yet, but I think some of them are back. But those are amazing, and they're so fun to color with. So we did do one card in the traditional sense using markers. So this would be one of the card kits you'd get. You'd get the card kit for this if you ordered this stamp set, while supplies last, of course. And then this is another way we used this stamp set. Now it looks like I may have colored, but in fact I did not. With this one, what we did is I used the Petal Garden paper, which I think is still currently available, but possibly low inventory. So if you like this stuff, you'll want to get that soon too. But you can see I pulled my color scheme right out of this paper. If it matches all the cards, that was intentional. I did that because I liked these colors and they were nice and bright and springy. So I pulled the colors out of here. And then what we did to do the colors on this card, you'll see I've got some stamped images here. So you stamp the image on the pattern paper that you like, and then you cut out the little pieces and layer them onto the card. So it's called paper piecing. And so you're just, so you can see I stamped this image on the green paper, cut it out with my scissors, and then taped it onto the card. So these little tiny itty bitty pieces, they are it's kind of fussy, but it looks so much better with those there than not. So one of the great things to have in your little tool bag is the Precision, the fine tip glue pen. This thing is beautiful for those little itty bitty things. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring this to class last week, so we had to wing it with one of these, which was a little bit messy. But if you have a glue pen or one of those fine tip glue pens, that works beautifully for these. But see how simple and how cute that is? And we just used pattern paper and stamped on those colors. and cut them out and then taped them down. So it's like piecing everything together, kind of like little puzzles. So that's really fun to do. And again, I didn't color for that one. All right, so the next card we did was this one. And I'll show you quickly what I did with this. Sometimes you just need to kind of take a look at your stamps a little differently. And that's what I did with this one. So I liked the little flowers in the background here. And if you look at the stamp set, that is not a stamp. So I used this one. We used that one to do it. And I actually don't think this piece of white is going to be big enough. I'm going to show you how I did it, but I need a bigger piece of white cardstock. So let me grab something that will work. This will work. Oh, it's vanilla, but that's okay. Vanilla will work. All right, so for this, what I did, oh, that's actually shimmer, even better. I did, I took this stamp set, which has the birdhouse on it, as you can see. And I put this onto a block. And then what we did is we took some Post-it notes, because I don't want that bird and the birdhouse in there. So I took the Post-it note, and I took a pair of scissors, and I cut that in half. And then we're just going to carefully line the sticky part up so that it covers that little line coming down holding the birdhouse, and it also covers the bird. Now if you look, see that didn't cover that side of the house, so that's why I took another one. I cut it in half, and I took another one, and I taped that there. So now, if you look at it, you can see that only the flowers and stuff are there. Those, all the bits for that piece that was hanging down are now covered. So I'm going to take my black ink again. And what you're going to want to do is, whoop, oh, well, that's a bummer. Let me just add a little of that so that doesn't happen. Do that again. Add that back in. Okay. This is live, people. Well, live to tape. So I'm not restarting. We're going to go ahead and keep going. Just want to make sure that stays on there. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up that stamp. Okay. So now I've got it nice and inked. I'm going to remove these. Now you can see there's no ink on that. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Okay. And then I'm going to put the Post-it notes back onto the stamp. And I'm going to ink up the stamp again. So we're going to go ahead, ink that up. And then don't forget to take the Post-it notes off once you've got it inked up so it's nice and inked. Pull those off. And now I just turned the cardstock and stamped it again so it's like in a circle. So now you can see there's the little circle of flowers. And then I took, where is it? My 2-inch circle punch. And I just cut out this center part. Like that. Whoops. And then I colored it with my blends. I just colored the green and the yellow because I didn't want it to like clash too much with the house. So, or not clash, but I didn't want it to be too busy. I wanted to kind of keep this background kind of subtle, so that's why I only just did the green and yellow, and then I colored the house in different colors, Pool Party and Sweet Sugar Plum, which is Retiring, which is this color, and then the Crumb Cake. So that was how I did that. I just layered that on there, colored it in, and then did the house, just stamped that house image, and then I cut out this middle one because it was the easiest. It didn't have like all this little bits to cut out. It was the straightest lines. So that was the easiest one to cut out and layer on top. So that was a third way to use that stamp set. So those are the 4 kits that you'll actually get in the mail. If you were to place an order for that stamp set before the 31st, I do have some extra kits, so I'd be happy to share those with you. You'd get the kit to do the brayered one that I showed you first, this paper piecing one, which I just showed you, and then this one here, which is the one we just did, and then the coloring, the simple straight coloring one. You'd obviously have to use your own sentiments and your own stamp set, because I can't stamp those in advance, but if you order it, you'll have it in your collection. You'll be able to make all of those, and I'll also include the finished thank you card that I gave the girls as well. So I colored these with my watercolor pencils instead of the blender pens. So you can see a subtle difference in those and how those look. So there's so many options to do and to use with this stamp set. So again, I'll show you the stamp set again. It's really cute. I'm really going to be sad that this one didn't carry over, but I'm sure it will find a new home somewhere shortly. So thanks so much for watching today. Be sure to join me on Wednesday, what is tomorrow? I don't even know what tomorrow is. I have no calendar around here, but tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live featuring the Sprinkles of Life stamp set and the Tree Builder Punch. And then beginning in June 4th through June 11th, I'm doing a new color week on my Facebook page. So be sure to go like By the Shore Stamping so you can join me for that as well. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, and then you'll get updates whenever I post a new video. So thanks so much. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week for Teach Me Tuesday. Bye-bye.